The agony. Oh.
Let's get it, y'all. Put some trouble in it.
Where's my burping at, man?
That's right. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in November. But I know I'm gonna change the tune.
This is a new low here under construction.
I messed it up. The trap is coming in June.
Oh, man.
That's life, though.
To a tug of a low.
Stuff just doesn't go right. Just when you think you got it in the bag, it just doesn't go right.
It was a very Charlotte week.
Carolina is going to Carolina. We had it in the bag 3 times this week. 3 times. And we ended up going 0-5 this week all together.
Woo!
And it's just...
At least the team in Raleigh's winning.
At least the team in Raleigh is winning. And you know what? We're going to continue not to even cover them. Because if we start covering them,
they'll lose.
They might start losing too. So we actually gonna leave them alone. We're gonna let them do their own thing.
Hurricanes.
We're gonna let them do their own thing. So
we gotta make that trip, fellas.
I think February, March time frame towards the end of the year, or
that sounds good.
Playoffs coming up.
Yeah, man, whatever.
You cool? Hey, y'all, welcome back to another episode of Under Construction, y'all. I'm your host, Vince, your bearded realtor. To my left, always, is Roddy Paws Richardson.
What it do?
What's up, Roddy? And to my right is normally our angry black fan, but I think we're going to go with Jamal, the sad black fan, Darby today. So, Jamal, what's happening?
Hello, everybody.
What's happening, Captain? Now, I know this is a sports podcast primarily, and I know that Charlotte gave us a very bad week. I know that the Hornets gave us a very bad week, and Carolina said, hold my beer. But we don't have to be what they are right now. We can still be happy. We can still be jolly.
I'm a winner. I'm always happy.
It's the holiday season, you know? Oh, I missed out on the plug. It's holiday season. Hey. Like,
no.
Jamal, what's going on?
Not holiday season
to
Thanksgiving.
Jamal, how's it going?
I'm here, man.
All right, so how was your week?
It sucked.
Why did Florida State win this week?
The bye week one.
The bye week. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Bye week's undefeated.
Are y'all bowl eligible? Because the 49ers are bowl eligible.
No, we actually are bowl eligible. I think we're going to the church's chicken bowl or something.
At least it's not the Popeye sandwich bowl.
The Family Dollar
bowl. I think it's the Zips Car Wash bowl or something. I don't know, man.
Rodney, what's up, man? How was your week, bro?
Pretty good, man. I just got back into town this morning from a wedding in Columbia. Shout out to Sade and Lamont. My family, we broke bread together this weekend. Saw your reunion. Played with the kids. We had an awesome time.
How many weddings have you been to this year?
3.
Look, I don't know what type of friends you got. I don't know how you've made the friends you got, but like however they come about, like just keep that energy over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have
Rodney has
two more weddings.
Rodney has friends who can afford to be married. That's what it is.
Rodney be like, "Hey, y'all, I'm not gonna be here next week. We going to Spain. Like, I got friends getting married in Spain." And then he come back, and then like 3 days later, you see him on Facebook, like flying out to Toronto or something. Like, yeah,
with the window seat.
I need Rodney life, man.
I'm poor.
with an Audi.
All right, Jamal, what's up, man? Jamal. What's up? How was your week, man?
Can we just do the culture segment this week, man?
No, how was your week?
Ain't no culture segment. It's all sports. It's all Carolina sports.
Why?
It's all because this is what we're doing this week. It's what we're gonna do.
Is there anything to talk about?
It's a lot to talk about.
Is there a lot to talk about?
It's a lot to talk about.
Wide right.
I gotta
think about that.
I gotta be professional this week.
I mean, you do what you do. Now, I will tell you this: when I upload these videos to YouTube, they do ask a question if this is like for kids or not. So I just put that out. I mean, do what you do though, but
man, I'm kidding.
All right, y'all. We gonna get into
shifting gears.
So we're about an hour past our lovable Carolina Panthers completing their third straight loss so far after losing in the Superdome to the New Orleans Saints by a last-second field goal. Drew Brees, they drove the entire length of the field. But hey, that's the Carolina way, right?
Carolina way.
So Cal Allen, who I have to give my props to this week, I gotta tip my hat to Cal Allen. 23 of 36 for 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, and absolutely no turnovers. He
fumbled one time. It got recovered.
Okay, my bad. I missed that.
He has to fumble every week.
Okay,
so.
I missed the
Butterfingers.
fumble. But still, nice bounce back game for Cal Allen. CMC did what CMC do. He only had 64 yards, but he left his mark on the game. And DJ Moore, who I think is really, really starting to come into his own right now, finished the game with 6 catches, 126 yards, and two touchdowns. So, I always typically throw out the offensive stats. I'm really getting into the defense, and I kind of let you guys get into that. But, Jamal, give me your initial thoughts on today's game.
I think we all have to eat some crow on Kyle Allen. I think he played a hell of a game. I think he showed some resiliency, especially after the first quarter. I know as an observer, I almost mentally checked out of that game because after last week, man, and after this week of Charlotte sports, let's get that clear. I was just like, I can't take anymore. I don't know what kind of person Queen Charlotte was, man, but she must have been a harlot or something because this
man just said harlot.
This is some painful stuff, man. Anyway, back to the game. I thought I didn't think Christian McCaffrey touched the ball enough, if that sounds crazy.
Okay.
Like, seriously, 64 yards is like, it's pedestrian, especially for him. I think we're more effective when he gets over 100 yards. However, DJ Moore having the game he did, maybe we just didn't need McCaffrey as much as we thought we did. I do have a minor beef with Norv Turner. I do think he called a good game, but when it came down to plays within the 5-yard line, goal line situations, I thought he was terrible. I thought it was wildly predictable, and it came back to bite us in the ass, man. And let me go on record and issue a public apology to Graham Gano. Graham Gano, I am sorry for every negative thing I've ever said about you, man. Please heal up and get well soon. I do not advocate violence against people who play sports, but Graham Gano, just get well soon. I'll just leave it at that, man.
What you got, Rodney? Follow up.
I wish our defense played 2 halves. We got gashed in the first half by Latavius Murray. We pretty much kept Alvin Kamara in check. We gave up 7.9 yards per rush, man. You're not going to win like that. You're not going to win, especially at the Superdome. So I like the adjustments that were made after halftime, defensive-wise. Shout out to Eric Reid. You can't cover worth a damn, but you sure can tackle. Yeah, he led the team with 15 tackles today. In that clutch fourth down tackle against Alvin Kamara. But
and I think
Joey Slye, man.
Well, in my bad for cutting you off, I'll give it right back to you. I don't like celebrating Eric Reid leading the team in tackles.
Because your safety cannot lead the team.
Your safety.
I want to get back to Luke Kuechly having 15 tackle days. That's
we're not getting that rush up front. He's getting chipped off, man. He only had 6 tackles today.
And it's funny that you say that because there was one play in the first half today where it felt like Drew Brees had like 2 weeks to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. And I think Michael Thomas caught the ball dragging across the field. And we made all these offseason moves and acquisitions to bolster up our front 7, and we aren't getting pressure on nobody.
I'm glad you brought that up because there was also a situation where they split Alvin Kamara out wide.
Yeah,
and I have always thought to myself, why don't the Panthers do that with McCaffrey more often? And I answer my own question because when you do that, when you split your running back out wide, you're going to need stout protection up front. We don't have that. We're not going to have time to do that. So it must be nice, man. I saw the Saints do it, and it worked a couple of times. It was just like, man, with the offensive line, it's almost like
it's tragic.
Man. It's such a shame we can't utilize McCaffrey even more than we do.
I mean, at this point, the offensive line is basically franchise. The franchise has not put an adequate offensive line there for the past 4 years, man. It's getting ridiculous. We had injuries today. We can't block anybody. We don't have the maulers. We can't even run on the goal line.
I'll be fair about that. Because I can't say it's for lack of not trying, because they went out and got Matt Paradise. They drafted Little, they drafted Daly, but they're just missing.
I mean, how many first rounders have we drafted? None.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. When I think it was the year we drafted Luke. I might be wrong on this, but there was a guy named Morgan Moses available, and I remember everybody was like, "Man, you got to go get that dude." And whoever we drafted ended up being better than Morgan Moses. So the point I'm trying to make is you can't reach for it either, man. You get what I'm saying? So the Panthers have been in this precarious situation where it's like, all right, we got to draft the best dude instead of drafting for need. And they still drafted for need, and it's still not working. True. So I can't say they're not trying, man. Sometimes we got to be objective with draft picks like the Hornets sometimes. Sometimes it just don't work. You can criticize in hindsight, but I can say it just don't work. You just miss sometimes. So let me ask you
this. With so many holes that we have in our offensive line, do you guys think we could probably hide some of those deficiencies by changing up our offensive scheme?
Gotta talk to North about that.
Talk to North.
Well, what type of offensive system would you guys like to see?
Well, see, the thing is, when you have a bad offensive line, the first, system that comes to mind is a West Coast offense.
Agreed.
I think Kyle Allen would actually be a good fit for that.
Because all he does is throw in between the numbers in the slant route.
You get what I'm saying? I don't see that as a bad idea, but, we don't have – I miss the days where our offense was simple in this way. Back in the Jake days – it was hand it off, throw it deep, because we had time to do it. We had an offensive line to do that. These days, man, it's.
Could you imagine Christian McCaffrey playing behind that offensive line?
Lord have mercy, man.
Jeez Louise, man.
Dog, if Stephen Davis, who ran a 5.2, could be that productive, imagine what Christian McCaffrey would have done.
So speaking of the number 5, there are 5 points out there that the Panthers could have scored today that we just.
Lord,
you don't say, bitch.
You don't say.
So Rodney, you were actually getting there. You was getting to that earlier. So do you want to expound a little bit more on our rookie place kicker?
I'm gonna echo what Jamal said. Graham Gano.
We're sorry, man.
I apologize for bad mouthing you earlier this year and calling for Slye to take your job. I hope you get well soon from your knee surgery, and we will see you next year. And also, you can't trust a Virginia Tech Hokie.
Okay.
I look, man, I don't like hindsight. Y'all know I don't. However, it needs to be said. Harrison Butker could have been on this team.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so
7th round, right, Jeff?
There was a sighting today that I don't think a lot of people realized. He goes by the name of Brian Burns. I think he made one.
I'm sorry, who?
Exactly. Any idea where he's been, why he's been where he's been, and why hasn't he been on the field?
I think Rodney has a good theory on this. I
think
I know what you're gonna say.
Yep, you know me. I think they're protecting him because he hurt that shoulder. I mean, not the shoulder, but the wrist was hurt more than we were led on to believe.
And you know how the Panthers are with injuries.
There's a common theme here. And so Ron's like, I'm just gonna pay him 5 or 10 snaps. Just next year's the year. That's all I got to say. Next year is the true year.
And ain't it funny how we don't see Brian Burns for like what, the last
2-3 weeks?
2-3 weeks.
It's been a while, yeah.
And look at the trend on defense. And then look at the trend on defense when he actually had snaps in the second half.
Exactly. So
hello.
I don't know. But like speaking of defense, I'm actually gonna shift the subject a little bit. Eric Reid, who first off, what do you guys thought on Eric Reid's game today?
He can't cover worth a damn.
He had a very Dante Jackson-like game.
Boomer bust.
No, he got beat on the route so bad that after he regained his composure and caught up with the receiver, he turned around to track the ball, and he couldn't find the ball because the receiver had the ball in the end zone celebrating already. That's how bad Eric Reid was in coverage today.
And also, to me, if he was in the correct placement on that last Drew Brees heave in the end zone, he could have had an interception.
Yeah.
Leave that one alone.
And it's crazy because with as bad as he is in coverage, he makes so many plays in the box.
See, that's the problem with the Panthers, too. I don't think we're great at developing young players. Rashawn Golden should have been playing. What's the guy name? Trey Boston is the same way. He's a good thumper, but you can't have two safeties that are not good in coverage.
Yeah.
And so that's part of our downfall too.
Who have below average speed, by the way, because they're not the fastest guys either, man. So they don't cover a lot of ground. And like Rodney said, you just can't have two safeties that play the exact same way. You're gonna get this a lot, man. You know.
So, do you guys think Eric Reid needs to focus a little bit more on his gameplay and a little less on his activism?
I'll let you go first of all.
Come on now, let's go.
I'll say this. What's my favorite saying?
Optics matter.
Optics are everything. So when you're in Atlanta with your boy, basically, less than 24 hours before your game here in Charlotte, and you go out there and you stink it up, how are we supposed to back you up, man? How are we supposed to defend that? You get what I'm saying? So optics mean a lot, man. It's not a good look right now, man. It's not a good look right now when you're very vocal, which I don't have a problem with. But the reality is when you're vocal and you're talking every week, but then you don't have best game on Sundays, you're gonna have some eyes on you, man.
What you got, Rodney?
Honestly, I'm tired of the NFL. Tired of Colin Kaepernick. I'm just tired of the whole situation.
Here.
Just shut up and play.
Just shut up, man.
And shut up and play. I mean, at this point, just play.
I'm tired of Stephen A. Smith. I'm tired of Terrell Owens. I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of everybody.
You can't be tired of Terrell Owens. He literally just showed up.
I don't care. I don't care.
Like it's just funny to me. Like T.O.'s like, you're not black enough. I'm like, dude, like, who made you the
authority? Who made
Black America? Like, I mean, I don't agree with a lot of Stephen A. Smith, what he says, but I do respect differing opinions. Stephen A. crosses the line a lot. But
habitual line crosser.
Habitual line crosser, but T.O., you're supposed to be a friend to Stephen A., address that in private.
Right.
But
I've never heard T.O. speak on the black issue ever in my life.
But can you not hold that same standard as Stephen A.? Because Stephen A. is friends with a lot of the people that he talk about.
That goes when I said I don't agree with a lot of Stephen A. what he says.
But I also believe Stephen A. will tell them the same thing
in private.
On TV, in private. So.
I believe Terrell Owens would tell Stephen A. the same thing that he told him on TV the other day.
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Okay, so now since we're kind of getting on this whole activism thing, when it comes to Eric Reid and his unwavering support for Colin Kaepernick, do you think him being so outspoken, considering he is actually playing in the NFL, do you think he's actually doing more good or harm in regards to Colin Kaepernick?
So I got a funny little nugget, man. So, while he had some really bad plays today, I'm on Twitter. My buddy was like, all right, Eric, you better shape up before you be unemployed like your boy. And I didn't want to laugh at that. But at the same time, man, it just goes back to the point I really just made, man. It's like, you're so vocal. Who's to say you're not on a short lease? Who's to say if you don't play for the Panthers, somebody else won't pick you up for the same reasons that they don't pick up Colin Kaepernick? Now, we don't want that to happen. You get what I'm saying? I'm definitely not promoting that and wanting that to happen. But we've seen Colin Kaepernick's reality. We don't want the same reality for Eric Reid. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, man, tread lightly, man.
I got 2 points, man. 2 points. Him campaigning for Carolina to pick up Kaepernick at one point. How would you feel if you were Will Greer and Kyle Allen?
Right.
Like that can cause some friction in the locker room. Mm. It's best to like, hey, he just needs a job. Don't like, he needs to be here. Chill out.
I got you. Right.
And then also another thing, man. I wish Colin was more outspoken about himself. I wish I can hear him speak more. Like, talk to us more. Tell us what you want. Like, I wish he was more out there.
Because the popular word this week was transparency, right? Yeah. Everybody was using the word transparency. Transparency. Oh, he changed the narrative. No, he didn't change the narrative. Nothing was very transparent to me this week. No. Man. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just alluding to your point. Like, if you want to be transparent, you need to talk more. You need to defend your position a lot more. So there's no questions to be asked. So
I like Kaepernick. What you stood on is admirable, I mean, I don't want to hear Nessa. I don't want to hear Eric Reid.
Right.
I don't want to hear other people. I want to hear you, my dude.
Right.
And like,
I don't want to hear Miko Grimes.
and like people always say like he made the sacrifice. No, man, he got money still. Like. He got a settlement.
Let's be clear.
He got the Nike.
But the settlement had nothing to do with the activism.
It doesn't. But he got the Nike deal too, man.
But how does that justify what has happened to him?
Nothing. I mean,
it doesn't. It doesn't. It just.
It doesn't.
What I think what Rodney was saying, what I would say is like either way, he still won something.
He still won. He's still a winner at the end of the day, man. He didn't lose everything.
That's not the same as saying we're letting the NFL off the hook.
He didn't lose.
Muhammad Ali lost everything.
How so?
He went to jail.
Because he lost his freedom.
Because he went to jail. Okay, and when he went to jail, he obviously was not allowed to box. And when he finally was allowed to box again, it was obvious he had lost his step.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick still lost his livelihood. He still lost his way of life. And the settlement had nothing to do with him kneeling and protesting.
No. This is my thing. Even with the settlement, like, good for you guys. I'm happy for you. Like, this is my issue. If there was some systemic racism going on within the NFL, expose that mug. Don't sign a hush hush. Expose.
I agree with that.
Expose everything. Like if you're gonna be all the way in, help everybody.
Right.
I agree with that. But see, I honestly think we're at a point right now that Colin Kaepernick honestly cannot do anything without being criticized because
from everybody,
He took the settlement, and you're right here saying that like, why take the settlement? Why not expose him? But if he refuses to take a settlement, then the narrative is, well, you really don't want to play for the NFL because you had a chance to settle, and you're choosing to continue to sue.
It's a slippery slope.
I
mean, and that goes back to this past week where everybody was all about transparency. He got the invitation to work out with like less than a week notice and all that good stuff, and it was
the NFL is trash for that one too. And I mean, on usually the workouts happen on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're gonna hold a workout on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
With less than a week's notice.
And it was and it was damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if he goes and work out, even though it's a sham workout, like he misses out because he's doing it to the he's playing by the NFL rules essentially. Yeah. But if he recognizes that this is BS and he chooses not to, then you get he really doesn't want to play. Otherwise, he would have worked out.
I have one last question about Colin Kaepernick. You think he can play kicker?
I don't know the answer to that question.
So you think he had some college eligibility left so he can play kicker for Florida State?
He can't go back and play for Florida State. He can't go play for Florida State. He can't do that.
You got one more Florida State joke.
But since we got so many questions, I want to talk about our owner, Mr. David Tepper. He did an interview this week, a press conference, mind you, and he's pretty frustrated with the overall lack of success by the Panthers. Going into today's game with the Saints, an article came out basically saying that Ron is on the hot seat and that Ron is basically on a 6-game job interview right now. So what do you guys feel about some of his comments, some of the things that are coming out right now?
It was Monday. It was a pretty uncommon thing. It was a pretty uncommon thing when the owner actually holds a press conference and it was off record, completely off record and impromptu.
East Coast Jerry Jones?
I
Please
hope
don't.
I hope not.
Please,
but I think he had to say a lot of those things, and we got to look. He's playing a long game too. In a few years, he wants a stadium, and so you have to play nice with the populace to get the stadium. So what better way to play nice than like, hey, I'm committed to win. I want to win. We're going to do this, this, and this. I'm upset just like you guys. So he has to present himself as an upstanding member of the community who's just like us to get the new stadium that he wants uptown.
Hold that thought. I got a question for you, but I'm going to let Jamal go first.
It's more of what we've been saying on this very podcast. We've been saying the seat probably is a little warm, and this year is do or die, so to speak. And it's coming to fruition, and it ain't looking so good right now. Man. And let me say this: if we're putting this in a 6-game vacuum right now, okay, I honestly can't fault Ron Rivera for today. Because let's just say this 6-game interview starts today. I'm not going to fault Ron Rivera too much because it's not his fault that two of his best interior linemen are hurt. It's not his fault Brian Burns was hurt. It's not his fault his kicker can't make a damn 23-yard field goal or a damn extra point. God, I'm getting mad thinking about it again.
Welcome to the show, Jamal.
Thank you. So, those are the type of things I can't fault Ron Rivera for. The team looked prepared to play, at least after that debacle of the first quarter they did. And I'm sounding like a broken record with this word, but they showed resiliency. And when the team does that, that means they haven't quit on you. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if we're starting there, if we're starting today, I can't fault. I can't fault Ron Rivera today.
I can give you that.
So if we finish, to wrap this up,
okay.
If we finish the rest of the season competing like we did today, his job may be safe.
And I'm glad you said it because this gives me a good segue to come back to your comment.
Talk to me, Vince.
You said that Tepper basically is just playing to the masses with him having the interview, saying the things that he said because he's looking at the long term. So do you honestly believe that he has no intentions of firing Ron Rivera?
You got to look at it like this. Tepper's a smart man. He made billions of dollars in investments in Wall Street. He comes from the Pittsburgh tree. Pittsburgh has had 3 coaches since 1969.
Touche.
And I don't like Ron Rivera. Everybody knows that. But next year may be the real trial at this point. If I'm Hurney, I'm more concerned I might lose my job than Ron at this point. But you got to look at it like this. He made a statement confirming, like, hey, man, Cam is our guy. I want him to come back healthy. So if Cam is back next year, we finish the year solid. And I think Rivera's still here as long as the actual team is still competing for him. I think Rivera will be back. He's an okay coach. He's an average coach. It's 8-8 with him.
So considering that his everything quarterback has been out since week 2, considering all the injuries that he's had this year, if he were to get fired this season, do you think that would be fair?
Yeah. It's not about whether it's fair or not. The NFL is a results-oriented business, man, and it wasn't. There's been a lot of unfair coach firings. I think Jack Del Rio should still be a coach in the NFL because there's a lot of clowns that still have jobs. Now, I guess to answer that question, not quite. I don't think it would be fair considering all the injury history that the Panthers have had this season. So, and not to mention, we've seen the positive side of Ron Rivera, meaning we've seen what this team is when all the parts are together, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I think it'd be a tad bit unfair if Ron is fired this year.
All right.
Life ain't fair.
It's not.
And so basically, you've never had back-to-back winning seasons. That's why we have a segment called back-to-back winning seasons. You've been up and down. Injuries occur. Every team has injuries. It's how you respond to the injuries. Look, we've had the same issues for the past couple of years. Clock management, being our coach, failing to make adjustments. Those things have not changed. We were still doing those things on the run. Like today, at the end of the first half, clock management. If we didn't get that touchdown, we were screwed. We would have never been back in the game.
We almost really screwed that up.
We almost really screwed that up. I mean, it's
well, they got a chance to get back on track next week. So we playing the Redskins.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If we lose to Washington next week, is DEFCON what?
I'd fire Ron right after that game if we lose to the Redskins.
DEFCON 5.
I'm sorry, man. No, that can't happen.
And with that, we have to go pay some bills, y'all. So give us a few minutes and we'll be right back. All right, y'all. So we're back. The bills are still on. I have a message for the Charlotte Hornets organization, their management, their staff. This is coming from a very distressed fan right now, okay? So if you guys could just bear with me for like 2 seconds so I can get this letter out, okay? All right.
I should let a whole lot of things burn.
I don't want to, but it's just something I gotta say. Charlotte, I love you, and I just feel like this is coming to an end.
Hey.
And I really think it's better for me if I let it go now than just hold on and continue to be hurt. So I think I just gotta let it burn.
It's gonna burn for me to say this. It's coming from my heart. Been a long time coming. We've been fell apart. Really wanna work this out. I do, but you don't. Think it's best we go our separate ways.
Welcome back to our lovable Hornets section, the 10th pick where we talk about our Charlotte.
Hopefully we're gonna be picking 10th this year.
The way that this past week just went, we might be picking first. Boy, I tell you what. But look, we just gonna get right into it.
But
right?
Since God hates Charlotte, we'll end up with the number 5 pick.
The Hornets played 4 games this past week. We started out on Monday losing to the Raptors 132-96. We saw that. Well, that should be.
We didn't call that a win.
Nobody had us beating the Raptors. Okay,
that wasn't a win.
Then we ended up losing to the Kyrie Irving-less Brooklyn Nets 101-91. Then we ended up losing to the Wizards 125-18 in the game in which we led by 14 points in the fourth quarter. And then we ended up losing to Zach. Let me put up 13 3-pointers in the game. Levine and the Chicago Bulls 116-115 after we were up by 12 in the fourth quarter. And Zach Levine literally got away with the most egregious travel in the history of trap. No, probably not the most egregious because there's always LeBron. But
it would have been
you would be soft LeBron sections right now. Don't do that.
But anyway, y'all, let's talk about the Hornets last week.
Do we have to?
Just go. What you got, Rodney?
I tried to told y'all this was coming. Our record indicated we were overperforming what our record was. I mean, not the record, but the actual statistics. I'm very disappointed. Of course, this reminds me of the Heat game a couple years back.
Oh God!
I remember this Heat game. So we were up by like 4 or 5,
and that the $24 million man.
I was at that game.
I was at that game, and I was leaving. I'm like, oh man, we got this game in the bag. And by the time I made it down the escalator, because I'm in the Section 8 section, by the time I made it down the escalator and looked on TV, I was like, what the?
That was the game where Dwight Howard got fouled, but the ref didn't call the foul. The ref Buddy got the ball. Who was it? Was their center?
Whiteside.
It wasn't Whiteside. It wasn't
Olynyk.
It was Olynyk. That's what it was. Kellen Olynyk.
I hate that dude.
Kellen Olynyk got it, and he was the one that made the shot and to win the game. It was Kellen Olynyk.
Don't forget that Nick Batum threw the ball away. Don't forget that.
Oh, he does that.
Oh, and we're gonna talk about Nick Batum later too. Okay, but hey,
you talk about the connector,
the coaching. Look, the coaching, the last second debacles, all that good stuff. What's going on? What's happening?
We're regressing to the mean. We're showing our age. We're a young team. Miles Bridges has been a bright spot. So has Monk and Rozier. Even though Rozier is getting all this criticism, Rozier has been playing good, averaging about 18 points a game. And Devontae Graham is a revelation in itself.
What you got, Jamal?
This is a young team that doesn't know how to win.
Yep.
Just throw the Toronto game away.
It didn't happen.
Sometimes there's just games where there's just no analysis to offer. Just throw it away, man. But as far as these other games go, here's the thing with young teams sometimes, man. All right, you go up double digits in the fourth quarter, 14, you're up 13-1 game. All right, this is the NBA. Everybody makes a run in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Teams are going to charge back at you. You hold them off by basically playing the same way that got you the lead that you had.
With the prevent.
But here's what happens with young teams. With young teams, there's one guy or two guys who say, you know what, I'm going to be the one that gives my team a boost and gives my team a spark. So let me go one-on-one and dribble into a double team and turn the ball over, and voila, this is what happens. I'm not saying any names, but it happens way too frequently for somebody who gets paid a whole bunch of money. I'm not saying no names though.
Say it with your chest, Jamal.
I really hate losing games the same way over and over and over and over again. It's the same thing with this team every time. Lack of defense, not taking care of the ball. The Bulls scored 47 points in the fourth quarter. We turned the ball over 5 times in the last 3 minutes or something like that. You're not going to win games like that, man. JB has a system that predicates itself on ball movement.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we can't get our point guards to share the ball when we need them to. Move the ball.
So, is it fair to say that they played like a point guard we had before? According to some of our fans.
That point guard didn't turn the ball over.
Good point. Good point.
Okay. So you guys are saying that we are not getting the brand of basketball that we once had, that we were promised. That being said, how much of that falls on the organization with the team that they've created, considering the fact that this is JB's second season, so he still doesn't have the team that he won. But how much of this falls on JB?
I have problems with JB. It seemed like early in the year he was sticking by, we're going to play the kids, we're going to let them develop, and whatever happens, happens. Okay. Nick Batum gets hurt first game. Okay. Oh, yes. I don't wish harm on nobody, but look, we need you to sit out a little bit. He comes back. We don't see Bacon no more. We don't see Martin no more. Actually, Mark got called down to Greensboro. I love the energy the young kids play with. Nick Batum is lazy. He has his money. He's like the skinny Boris Diaw. I'm so sick of him. Like, the lazy passes. He's not aggressive. He's supposed to be the connector. He's connecting us to losses. That's all he's doing at this point.
So let me add a little bit more clout to that. Then Jamal, I'll let you take over. Okay. So we're talking about the whole youth development, and even though the primary players are getting their run, I want to give you guys a few stats real quick. Since Nick Batum has come back in these last 5 games, Nick Batum is averaging 25 minutes per game. Since he's come back.
25 minutes too much.
In these 25 minutes, he's given us 5.5 rebounds per game, as well as 5 assists per game.
Not bad.
However, in these 5 games, he has scored a total of 24 points. He has scored a total of 24 points in
4.8 points
in 5 games. Yeah, 4 points. Now, Cody Martin, who wasn't expected to do too much coming into the season, who kind of ended up being some sort of revelation in the 6 games prior to him, to Nick Batum coming back. Cody Martin was averaging 21 minutes per game. Mm-hmm. In the 5 games that Nick Batum has been back, Cody Martin has logged 1 minute 45 seconds, 10 minutes, DNP, 5 minutes. With the energy that he brought, that he was bringing every single night, and the plays that he was making, are we getting JB from last year in regards to him going away from what he promised?
Here's the only way I can even begin to explain that, and I don't know this for sure. Okay, JB must really hate guys who he doesn't think can shoot the ball. Cody Martin hasn't shot the ball well this year. Let's be fair about that. Nick Batum is more of a perimeter threat than Cody Martin
with 24 points in 5 games. Continue.
Right. But at the same time, it's the only way I can explain it, because otherwise it doesn't make a lot of sense, Vince. It just doesn't. Because if you got Nick playing all these minutes, I have to go back to this question. Why isn't Michael Kidd-Gilchrist playing if Nick Batum was playing? If that's the case, you get what I'm saying?
Still only 26.
I just don't get it. Look, JB, in the beginning of the season, he said something to the effect of players are going to play regardless of contract and tenure and all this stuff. But here we are, reverting right back to the same crap that was happening last season. I hate to do this. I'm playing devil's advocate. and I hate to do it, but I gotta say it. There's something that kind of makes me think upstairs is like, hey man, I'm paying this dude a lot of money. Oh, he's gonna play.
It has to be.
It has to be.
He knows where the bodies are buried.
I firmly believe that there is something behind closed doors that we don't know about that is allowing Nick Batum to continue to log these minutes.
Let me say this though. Marvin, I gotta give Marvin some props, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
Marvin has earned his minutes.
Marvin has earned his minutes.
minutes.
He's such a great fit with these young kids, man. He's like
Mentor.
a coach on the floor with them. Continue to play him. Like
even Biz has played okay in his minutes. I can justify Biz playing at least a little bit.
right.
And see, I don't even have a problem with Nick Batum getting 25 minutes per game. What I have a problem is with Nick Batum being out for 2+ weeks, missing however many games he did, and as soon as he comes back,
He's right.
he is starting. He is starting, and he is getting these 20. Well, no, he's not starting.
He's not
No,
starting.
But he's first off the bench, getting these heavy. Like it's
Over Monk.
Meanwhile, Bacon missed 2 games,
And now he's buried with Michael Kidd.
and we don't see him anymore. We don't see him.
Bacon, he has the potential to play good defense. He has the body size. The problem with Bacon to me is he cannot pass. He does like his court vision is terrible, and if his shot ain't going, it's not much he's offering. But at this point, we're in the rebuilding phase. Whether you like it or not, JB, we're in the rebuilding phase. Let him figure this out and get out that funk.
You just made the point I was going to make, and I was going to say the Hornets need to decide what direction they are really taking here. You get what I'm saying?
Hold that thought. We will come back to that thought in like 10 minutes, okay?
'Cause I know why.
Yeah, we'll come back to that thought in about 10 minutes. But I want to talk about one player before we go into next week's predictions, okay?
Okay.
So I want to talk about Cody Zeller. I'm watching Cody Zeller play.
Hustle man.
And I am watching this guy do things that he has not done his previous 5 years.
Right.
This guy is running the court almost like a North Carolina Tar Heel center if we were talking about college. I watched Cody Zeller. It was either last night's game or the game before. Come from the top of the key and try and give us a putback, a one-handed
Right.
put. Like, what do you guys think has gotten into Cody Zeller that he's moving so fluidly this season?
He's healthy.
And he's about 27. He's just hitting his prime.
Yeah.
He's hitting his prime. Want to hear something funny? There was this radio host. I had an argument one day. He said Cody Zeller is not athletic.
That you just don't watch. If
You
you
don't watch
don't
basketball.
Watch. If you
So
say
I'm
that,
just
you
leave that
don't
alone.
watch.
But Cody is what he is. He's a hustle player who's going to max out about 12 points a game, but he's going to give you his max effort. He's probably best suited as a 6 man off the bench for our future center.
Right.
We're going to talk about later that we may draft, but Cody
Or trade for.
But Cody is what he is at this point. He's not. He's a slightly above average NBA player, and that's not completely a bad thing.
It's not.
We just had bigger expectations of him because he was drafted number 4. That's it.
And look, I will say this again. People hate on the dude because he's a big, goofy white boy, but he's a big, goofy, productive white boy. And I think the criticism he gets from fans is he's not the type of center that Hornets fans are craving, meaning he's not the big, bruising, physical, push the dude out the paint, blocking shots every time. He's not that type of center. He's a bit of a finesse center, and people don't like finesse centers. You get what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean he's not productive. So to Roddy's point again, he's probably more suited to come off somebody's bench. Hopefully it's ours. I wouldn't mind keeping Cody around if we got something to.
They'll come after you in a little bit.
So I'm gonna poke the bear here, okay?
Okay.
Does Cody Zeller play the way that he's playing if Kemba Walker is still here?
I think he plays even better.
Better because you have a point guard who is better able to get him the ball, and that whole pick and roll system they had, it was always tops in the league. But the problem was, what Jamal alluded to, he was never healthy. He put it like this: I don't think he's gonna play 82 this year. It might be 42.
I'm actually a little scared because we're only 17 games into the season.
Right.
He might not make it to another 25. I'm telling you that's just how he's always been.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just knock on wood, man. That's about as simple as I can put it. Let's just hope and pray he is healthy, because Lord have mercy, if I got to see Willie Hernan-Gomez trying to pick and roll, man, boy.
Well, that boy plays in Timberland.
Speaking of health, if Cody Zeller were to go down, then we would have to go and get another center. There is a center who has emerged as a top candidate for us to trade for. So I'm not going to get it. You guys already know how I feel. I'll say it if I need be. But right now, there are rumors circulating around the NBA world that the Hornets are looking for Andre Drummond because their record is better than what everyone thought it would be at this time. So the brass apparently they're thinking playoff push now. So what are you guys thinking about possibly getting away from the youth and development movement and going after Andre Drummond?
Let me take this one first, sir.
Got it.
So a couple of weeks ago on this show, I said what I want for the Hornets is to try to build sustained success, and not to go out and make emergency and panic trades. Here we are again, rumored to be making an emergency panic trade that's only gonna make us that much better. So we're looking to sneak in another 8th and 7th seed with trading for Andre Drummond. What the hell is the point, man? I look at this trade and I say, look, there's nothing that's going to stop the Hornets from pursuing this, obviously. Mm-hmm. If they decide to do this, I swear to God, I will go down there and I will fight somebody if they give up one of these kids to go get Andre Drummond, man. And it goes back to what I said. What direction do you want to take? You got to make a decision on that, man. Because are we going for a true youth movement, which could develop into sustained success, or are you looking to just continuously fight for this A seed again, man? What do you want to do, Hornets? You got to make that decision. Now, with all that being said, if there's some type of trade that involves Nick, MKG, I hope not Cody, but maybe Cody or Biz, if the trade centers around one of those big contracts, I'm a little less mad at it. I still don't really want to pursue it, honestly, but if they decide to go that route, they cannot give up on one of these kids yet, man. That is, and the damn sure better not give up no first round draft picks, man. Can't do it.
What you got, Rodney?
Embrace the suck.
Okay, that short, that sweet. Just
embrace the suck.
I mean, I agree,
but don't like. This is my problem. We've always tried to have this dual path of development and making the playoffs.
And trying to win, right?
As my church people say, you can't serve two masters. It's either got to be one or the other. Mm-hmm. We need to continue this rebuild thing. All this money is coming off the books at the end of this year. You got $41 million.
We got 2 million because we're still on the books with Nick and Cody for 1 more year after this year.
But MKG, Batum, not Batum. MKG, Marvin,
yeah.
And
they come off
this year, and Biz come off this year. That's roughly $41 million.
Right.
True that.
And so, if you really want Drummond that bad, sit your ass down and wait until July.
But even then, that just doesn't make
any sense to me either.
He's going to want a long-term deal.
Here's the deal. Actually, Drummond is signed through next year. He's making $27 million this season. He's due for $28 million next season.
He'll probably opt out.
You think he'll opt out?
Let me tell you why. This free agent market is terrible coming up this summer. He's going to cash out. Somebody's going to overpay for Andre Drummond. He's going to walk.
And speaking of that, Andre, even right now this season, he's averaging 18 and 16.
Let me play devil's advocate. What if the Pistons say, all right, we'll take on Batum. We'll even give you a third point guard that you need. Batum and somebody else for Andre Drummond and third point guard. You take that?
See, and I was going to ask that question because even if we get rid of Nick Batum, Andre Drummond is still being paid $2 million more. So I'm going to deflect.
But come on now.
I'm going to deflect.
Andre Drummond's only 26.
I'm going to deflect. Andre Drummond comes here. Nick Batum goes there.
Right.
If you are Detroit, what else satisfies you to come along with Nick?
A first round pick.
or a young guy.
Now you're Charlotte. Are you willing to give up a first round pick?
You better not.
So why?
I mean, you think about this last year with that Memphis deal with Gasol. We were not willing to give up a first round pick. We smartly made the right choice,
Right.
Because we got PJ. To me, Mitch is still in the same mind frame. Hey man, if we suck enough and we get enough lottery balls, we get number 2 picks because we basically see the Lakers win one less game than us, jump all the way to number 3 or 4.
So here's what's really going to piss me off if any trade goes through involving Andre Drummond. You know what I'm going to ask if this trade happens? Why the hell couldn't this trade happen last year?
Agreed.
I'll just leave it at that, man.
And I think the only way to answer that is simply because teams just wanted too much.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't see us making a trade to where someone could look and say Charlotte won that trade, or not even won the trade, but Charlotte came out better for that. I don't see a scenario.
No, not right now.
I don't. So
not right
which is even more reason why you just chill.
Just chill.
You just chill.
And now like my whole thing is, how is this even a conversation? How is this rumor even flying right now?
I agree. I look. I think they looked at that Brooklyn Nets game and something called Jared Allen goes off of what 20 and 18 or something like that, and they say, God, this is really bad. So let's make another emergency trade like we always do. Just chill, man. It's gonna happen. Just like Rodney said, embrace the suck. And if you want
Wiseman, we could get Wiseman. That kid is pretty good.
I wouldn't reach for him, but that's unpopular opinion. I wouldn't reach for him. There's somebody better.
That's why you're a Florida State fan.
Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is, man, if we're in the true youth movement, go try to find somebody young to fit that rim protector role. You get what I'm saying? There's somebody out there you got to want to pursue that's not going to cost you $27 million, and you can still be in your quote-unquote youth movement. Make that happen instead of this panic trade, man.
What you got, Rodney?
I agree, man. Like, there's this thing called the second draft.
Okay.
Which is basically the disappointing young kids in their second and third year who need a fresh start.
Right.
Scour that market. Denver has a whole bunch of young pieces. See what they're willing to take from you to get one of the young pieces, because they can't pay everybody. Denver's not a big market. Be creative. Go out there and try to find a young piece that you can actually develop and play. Get rid of Willie. He needs to be gone.
Yeah.
He's not offering us anything.
I tell you what, no matter how we feel about Andre Drummond,
Taco Fall's available.
we'll be paying attention to Andre very closely this week, because we're actually about to see him 2 times in the next 7 days. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to get into these Hornets predictions for the next week. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
They got 4 games coming up. They see Miami on tomorrow. They see Detroit on Wednesday. They see Detroit again on Friday, and then we got Milwaukee coming in on Saturday.
2-2.
So 2-2.
1-3.
You got 1-3. Who's the one win you got?
Detroit.
Okay, we're there. I don't see us losing 2 games to Detroit. Miami is a loss. Milwaukee is a loss. And Detroit isn't going to let us beat them twice.
No.
So I'm going to go 1-3 as well.
I'm gonna go 1-3.
This could be 0-4.
It could very easily be 0-4.
It could be very easily be 0-4.
Because we know we're coming up on the vaulted December, and you know how this team historically does.
December and January is bad. December and January is bad.
That 10-game losing streak is on the horizon.
The frozen. It could be here right now. Look at this.
It could be here now.
Because after those games we have the Suns, which is a surprisingly good team. I can see us losing that one. And we have the Warriors, who we almost lost to. So it's.
Look.
It's a cold winter, man.
This has been a very depressing show. Okay, this has been very depressing. So, Rodney, we're going to move into our shout-outs real quick for the week, and I'm going to let you start off with the shout-outs.
I want to give a shout-out to UNCC.
Yeah, man.
Good shout-out.
No,
Good shout-out.
They made a bowl.
Good shout-out.
They have Dabble Jr. as their coach. He'll probably get plucked pretty soon. I'm sorry to say that.
That's how it goes.
This is basically how it goes.
Yeah.
And shout out to you guys, man. It's a big historic thing for your program to be bowl eligible. And shout out again to my friends, Sade Lamont, for getting married. It was an awesome thing to witness your union.
UNC Charlotte just became D1 back in 2015. For anyone who didn't know that, so this is major.
That's pretty dope, man.
One more shout out. I'm actually trying to go to UNC Charlotte basketball game. You're actually good again. I haven't been to a basketball game since I've been in high school, which is like 01
Wow,
02.
so you only could go to the games when they good. You sound like a Warriors fan.
Hey, Jamal, I'm a Warriors fan.
Jamal, what you got, man?
Shout out to my cousin Gianna, who is celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday, miss you. Shout out to Sukasa and Jay Asiatic. Just continue to throw good events, man. Shout out to the diehard Charlotte sports fan this week.
It's rough.
It's been rough, y'all. Just know we in this thing together, man. And I can't say. Look, man, I'm about to say something that I need to go take a shower immediately after I go say this.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Go Patriots.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I need some water. Look, okay, so let me just. I'm gonna block that out of my mind.
I
Look,
mean,
y'all.
it's like the election all over again.
I got to shout at, and then I got to shout out. My shout at will be to all of the Stephen A. Kanye West types out there who have viciously supported the NFL in this latest facade of idiotic movements in which they want to call transparency. When they gave Colin Kaepernick his quote unquote workout, and there were 20 some odd teams who were reportedly interested in Colin Kaepernick, everyone was like, "See, this is it. It's happening. He's gonna get a workout. He's gonna start playing, and now all you guys can just shut the hell up." And I said from day one that this man has not played in 3 seasons, and you just don't go 3 seasons without hiring him to come in and at least work out, and then all of a sudden have interest in him because the NFL put out this sham workout. So here we are a week into this, or a week beyond this, and reports have started to come out that absolutely 0 teams have reached out to Colin Kaepernick in his camp.
That's predictable.
Pretty doggone predictable, right?
Right.
Now, we might wake up tomorrow and he may have signed with somebody, and I will very humbly eat my crow at that point. But for right now, as it stands, I just need you guys to just open up your doggone eyes, okay? Because you're looking real goofy right now, all right? But I'm just going to leave it at that. On a more positive note, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Lovie Smith. Yo, have y'all seen that guy's beard?
Look, Black Santa Claus.
Bro, that beard, like gold. Well, actually not gold because I still don't want gray hair right now. But yo, that beard is dope. And I didn't even know football coaches had beards like that.
You just gave me an additional shout out.
Okay, all right. Well, all right. So let me give
ahead.
you guys my little diatribe right now. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little bit of background on Lovie Smith to kind of help drive my point. Okay, everybody knows he was the head coach at one point for the Chicago Bears. And after finding a way, after going 10-6 one season, the Chicago Bears brass actually found it wise to let him go. Then the 2013 season, he spent all year on vacation, didn't do anything until he ended up signing with the Tampa Bay Bucks in 2014. His first year with the Bucks, he went 2-14. The second year with the Bucks, he went 6-10. And if anybody followed the Buccaneers during that second season, that 6-10 season could have very easily had been 10-6. Could have very easily been 10-6. So things were looking up for him, but their offense was so hot this year. Their offensive coordinator was getting so many offers from around the league. So what did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do?
Fire Lovie. They hired the coordinator.
They fired Lovie Smith, and they hired the offensive coordinator, the head coach.
How's that been working out for
him? And I can't remember his name, but I don't think he's the head coach. I don't think he's not the head coach. He just got fired last season. So
Raheem something, I think.
Lovie Smith, he ends up finding himself in football coach purgatory, so to speak, and he ends up taking a coaching gig in college. And he becomes the head football coach at Illinois. First season, they go 3-9, then they go 2-10, and then last season they go 4-8. This year, they were down to Michigan State 28-3 and came back and won the game
28-3.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything.
After last week, we can't really laugh.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
The hell we can't.
But they came back and they won the game something like 34 to like 31 or something like that. But when they beat Michigan State 2 weeks ago, it was such a huge win. It actually made them bowl eligible.
That's awesome.
And the reason why they stuck out for me, because I was scrolling Facebook, and the team in celebration actually carried him off the field.
Oh, that's dope.
So with the things that has happened to Lovie Smith, for me to see that, I just thought that was super dope.
No doubt.
And I just wanted to put it out there in the atmosphere that I'm happy that he's finally having some sort of success, because I can only imagine what he has been through mentally to get fired and have to go through some of the things that he's been through. So big ups to Lovie Smith. I'm not an Illinois fan, but I'll try and check you guys out during bowl season. But yeah, I just had to do that.
Yeah. Shout out to Herm Edwards.
And I got one more shout out.
Big time win last night.
One more shout out. So wasn't it ironic that we won a PI call?
Ooh,
in the dome.
Yeah. We're actually right at an hour right now. So with that said, I just want to say thanks to everybody for listening, for watching, for the support. As always, continue to like, share, watch, subscribe, follow, tweet, retweet, all that good stuff at Under Construction. And we'll see you guys, same bad channel, same bad place next time.
Peace, y'all.
I'm having nightmares.